Okay, so today we're going to talk about the third form of a linear equation. As a reminder, we have y equals mx plus b. This is slope-intercept form. Okay, then we have ax plus by equals c, which is standard form. That's the one where we use the x, the y and x intercepts. And this final one is called point slope form. So hopefully you will realize that we're going to use the point and the slope. So it's actually a very easy form to use. And easy to convert into other forms. So let's just get right into it. And here is the form of this. This form is y minus y1 is equal to m x minus x1. Now, it looks a little confusing right now, but remember, m still stands for slope. So we should be used to that. y1 and x1, this is a point. So these are the point coordinates. Okay. So, excuse me. So let's say I have some information. I have a slope that is 2/5, and I have a point that is 10, -8. Okay? In order to use this form, all I have to do is say y minus, okay, and see now I've got a -8 is equal to my slope 2/5 times x minus, and my x is 10. Now, please note that what happens here is that this is just going to be y plus 8 equals the 2/5 x minus 10. So if you just make a note that you're subtracting your positive coordinates, and you are adding your negative ones, and it's because of this that is going on here. So just understand that that is happening. So when you would graph this, and I realize I am not on graph paper, but here, let me just pull a piece, and so that way I will have some graph paper. You know how I am about not using the proper paper. Let's say I'm going to graph this, and again, I have a slope of 2/5, and of course you can't see a darn thing because I'm not on there, and I have a point, and my point is 10, -8. So you have the equation already, and now all you're going to do is make your coordinate plane. You are going to find that point. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And my slope is positive 2/5, so I'm going to go up 2 and right 5. Actually, oh boy, my point is in a very weird place. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoa. Okay, so my line, I couldn't be in any worse shape here for where I made my coordinate plane. Sometimes you might want to just look at what your line is going to be doing before you actually build your coordinate plane, because obviously my information is way down here, and I should have seen that happening, but I didn't. Whoops. Okay, because that looks bad. Okay, so anyway, that's that graph. Man, that was bad. Okay, sorry about that. Okay, so let's go on to using 2 points to write an equation. I think you have the whole idea of the graphing anyway. So let's say that they give us 2 points, and let's see. I'm not finding 2 points that I want to use. Let's use 0, 2, and we're going to use -4, 2. And we're going to do point slope form. So the first thing I need is a slope. So we'll call this point 1, point 2. So y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1 is how we're always going to start for our slope. This is going to be 2 minus 2 over -4 minus 0. 2 minus 2 is 0. I can't even believe that I did this point. Of all the points I could have picked, I picked a horizontal line. Okay, so we're not going to use this point because obviously here is my slope, which equals 0. I hope we all realize that when we have a slope of 0, then that's horizontal, and this really isn't what I want to do because it makes everything 0 and it's kind of crazy. We're going to finish it. But so we're going to have y minus. Now this is important because we can use either point and it's going to be the same. I'm going to use point 1. So y minus 2 is equal to my slope, which is 0, x minus 0. Sorry, I just cracked myself up that I'm using that point. Okay, so what happens here is that this becomes 0. So y minus 2 is equal to 0. And so what you're going to do is you're going to move this 2 over. I guess it's not totally pointless because you get to see the creation of the standard form, actually, of your horizontal line, which is y equals 2, which we would have seen in the standard form. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and pick two different points. So let's see if I can make this better. So let's do these 2 points, 5, -3, I'm just still cracking myself up, and 3 and 4. Okay, my slope, I'm going to do -3 minus 4 over 5 minus 3. That's going to equal -7 over 5 minus 3 is 2. I'm just really struggling here. So here is my slope. So this equals m, my slope. So, and I will use, I'm going to use this point this time. I'm going to use this point, and I'm going to say y minus 4 is equal to my slope, -7 over 2, x minus 3. I could have also said, using the other point, y plus 3 equals -7 over 2, x minus 5. Now, if you actually solve for this, you'll see that both of these equations will come out to the same slope-intercept form. And we will be working so that we go back and forth between all of these forms. Now, the only other thing that we want to look at is writing these equations if we're using a table. Okay, so so we're going to look at a table real quickly, and then that'll be the end of this video. We've got x and y, and we've got -11, -1, 4, and 19, and our y is -7, -3, -1, and 5. Okay, so what we're going to look at is the difference between each of these. So here we've got a difference of 4. Here we have a difference of 2. Okay, plus 4 plus 2, and here, difference of 6. Now, negative 11 to negative 1 is 10. I think I'm adding and subtracting right. Negative 1 to 4 is going to be 5. And 4 to 19 is going to be 15. So now that I have these, I'm going to look at all of my slope comparisons, basically. So I'm going to take change in y over change in x. So 4 over 10, which is equal to 2/5. Here I've got 2/5. And here I've got change in y is 6 over 15. And when I reduce that, I'll divide both by 3. I'll get 2/5. So this is linear because we have the change is constant. Okay, so this is a linear equation. And all we have to do, we know what our slope is. That's our rate of change right here. So in order to get an equation, all we have to do is use one of these points. I'm just going to use the bottom point here and say y minus 5 is equal to my slope of 2/5 x minus 19. And that is how we get our linear equation. So just real quickly before I close out, what I am going to do is now turn that into slope-intercept form. So I will have y minus 5 equals 2/5 x minus, and this is going to be 38 over 5. Okay, probably picking just the worst absolute problem I could for this, but that's all right. Here's plus 5. Now I'm going to add 5 to both sides, giving me y equals 2/5 x. And here I'm just going to go ahead and convert this. 5 goes into 38 7 times. Pretty sure. It's kind of late. And 3/5, 7 and 3/5, and that's negative. And I'm going to add 5 to that. So a negative 7 and 3/5 plus 5 should give me, I'm hoping, a negative 2 and 3/5. If I've done that wrong, I apologize, and please, green ticket for anybody who finds my mistake. And so now you have slope-intercept form. Okay, so that's it. Have a good night, and I'm sorry, I'm just getting such a kick out of this material. Okay, have a great day tomorrow.